The studio lights blazed down on the set of The Kelly Clarkson Show, the audience buzzing with anticipation as Kelly Clarkson, all smiles and Texas charm, leaned forward in her plush chair. Across from her sat Snoop Dogg, his lanky frame draped in a tailored black suit, gold chains glinting under the stage lights. The crowd roared as the cameras rolled, their energy a mix of excitement and curiosity. Snoop, with his signature laid-back swagger, nodded to the audience, his braided hair swaying slightly as he adjusted his sunglasses. Kelly, her voice warm but with a spark of mischief, kicked things off. "So, Snoop, you're out here dropping new music, producing films, and now you're even coaching on The Voice. How do you keep up with all this hustle?" she asked, her grin wide but her eyes sharp, like she was already fishing for something. Snoop leaned back, one arm slung over the chair, his voice smooth as ever. "You know, Kelly, it's all about the vibe. I just flow where the universe takes me. Music, movies, mentoring, it's all part of the Snoop Dogg experience. Ain't no stress when you doing what you love." The audience clapped, a few hoots rising from the back. Kelly nodded, but her smile tightened just a fraction. "Right, the vibe," she said, tilting her head. "But let's talk about that new album. Some folks are saying it's a departure from the classic Snoop sound, like maybe you're chasing trends instead of setting them. What's your take on that?" The question landed like a jab, subtle but pointed. Snoop's easy grin didn't falter, but his eyes narrowed slightly behind his shades. "Chassin' trends," he repeated, his tone still calm but with a slight edge. "Nah, Kelly, I don't chase, I create. Been doing this since '92, dropping heat that sets the standard. If folks think I'm switching up, maybe they ain't listening close enough." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement, others sensing the shift in the air. Kelly leaned forward, her hands clasped, her voice still light but probing. "I hear you, but you know how fans get. They love the Doggy-style era, that raw West Coast sound. Some of them feel like your new stuff, with all the pop collabs and electronic beats, is ... Well, less you. Are you saying they're wrong to miss that?" Snoop chuckled, but it was low, almost a growl. "Fans gone, feel how they feel, and I respect that. But I ain't a museum piece. Kelly, I evolve. I ain't trying to remake Doggy-style every year. That album's a classic, but I'm living in the now, not the '90s. You gotta grow, or you get left behind." The audience clapped again, but the energy was different now, a little tense. Kelly raised an eyebrow, her smile still in place, but her tone sharpening. "Fair, but isn't there a risk of alienating the fans who got you here? I mean, you're an icon, Snoop. People expect a certain authenticity from you. Some of these new tracks, they sound like they could be anybody's. Don't you ever worry you're losing that Snoop edge?" The question hung in the air, and for the first time, Snoop's cool exterior cracked just a bit. He shifted in his seat, his fingers tapping the armrest. "Authenticity," he said, his voice low but deliberate. "Kelly, I've been authentic since I was rapping in Long Beach with nothing but a dream and a mic. You think I ain't real 'cause I'm trying new sounds. That's the game, ma. You either innovate or you stagnate. Which one you think I'm doing?" The crowd let out a mix of cheers and gasps, sensing the heat. Kelly's smile faltered, but she recovered quickly, leaning back with a small laugh. "Oh, I know you're innovating, Snoop. I'm just asking what the fans are asking. You know how it is. You put yourself out there. People have opinions. Speaking of, let's talk about your collabs. You've been working with some huge pop stars lately. Any chance we'll see you on a track with Say Me?" She winked at the audience, trying to lighten the mood. Snoop smirked, but it wasn't his usual, playful grin. "You trying to get in the booth with the dog, Kelly? Gotta warn you, I bring the fire. You sure you're ready for that?" The audience laughed, but there was an undercurrent, a tension that hadn't been there at the start. Kelly tilted her head, her voice dropping a notch. "Oh, I'm ready, Snoop. Question is, are you ready to keep up with me? Or are you too busy chasing those new vibes to handle a real challenge?" The crowd oohed, and Snoop's smirk faded. He leaned forward now, his sunglasses reflecting the studio lights. "Careful, Kelly," he said, his voice slow and deliberate. "You talkin' like you know my game better than me. I've been in this longer than you've been singing. Let's keep it real." The air in the studio thickened, the audience holding its breath. Kelly's eyes locked with Snoop's, her smile gone now, replaced by something harder. "I'm keeping it real, Snoop," she said, her voice steady but sharp. "I'm just asking the questions people want answers to. You say you're evolving, but some folks think you're selling out. So, tell me, where's the line? How do you know when you've gone too far?" Snoop's jaw tightened, and for a moment, he didn't respond. The silence stretched, heavy and electric, as the cameras zoomed in, capturing every flicker of expression. Then, slowly, he leaned back, his voice low, but cutting, "Sellin' out. That's what you think this is? Kelly, I ain't never sold out a day in my life. I make music for me, for my people, for the culture. You want to talk lines? How about you tell me why you think you can sit there and judge my whole career in 5 minutes?" The audience gasped, a few shouts rising from the crowd. Kelly's face flushed, but she held her ground, her voice rising slightly. I'm not judging, Snoop. I'm hosting. It's my job to ask the hard questions. If you can't handle them, maybe this isn't the place for you. Snoop's eyes flashed, and he stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. Maybe it ain't, he said, his voice cold. He adjusted his jacket, glanced at the audience, and started walking off the set. The crowd erupting into a mix of cheers, boos, and stunned murmurs. Kelly sat frozen for a split second, then called after him, Snoop, come on, we're just talking. But he didn't turn back, his long strides carrying him toward the stage exit as the cameras scrambled to follow. The stage exit door hadn't even clicked shut behind Snoop Dogg when the studio audience erupted, a chaotic blend of gasps, cheers, and murmurs rippling through the crowd. Kelly Clarkson sat in her chair, her face a mix of shock and defiance. The cameras still rolling as the crew scrambled to regain control. The tension was palpable, the air thick with the weight of what had just happened. Kelly took a deep breath, her hands gripping the armrests, and leaned toward the audience, her voice steady but laced with an edge. All right, y'all, let's take a quick breather, she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. We're gonna get Snoop back out here, because we're not done talking. This is the Kelly Clarkson Show, and we keep it real, right? The audience clapped, some hesitantly, others with enthusiasm, still buzzing from the clash. Kelly glanced off stage where a producer was gesturing frantically, then turned back to the cameras. Let's give it up for Snoop Dogg, y'all. He's a legend, and we're gonna work this out. Off stage, Snoop stood in the dimly lit hallway, his sunglasses off now, his eyes narrowed as he paced. A production assistant hovered nearby, unsure whether to approach. Snoop's longtime friend and manager, Ted, appeared, placing a hand on his shoulder. Yo, Snoop, you good? What's the move here? He asked, his voice low. Snoop stopped pacing, his jaw tight. Man, she came at me like I'm some rookie. Ted talking 'bout selling out. I ain't here for that. I came to promote the album, not get grilled like I'm on trial. Ted nodded, glancing toward the stage door. I hear you, but walking off ain't the look. You know how this plays out. They're gonna spin it like you're the bad guy. You wanna go back out there and set it straight? Snoop exhaled sharply, running a hand over his braids. She'll wanna play hardball, I can play hardball, but I ain't sitting there talking shots for no reason. She gotta respect the game. Back on set, the audience was still buzzing as the band played a quick instrumental to fill the awkward silence. Kelly leaned forward, her voice softer now, addressing the crowd directly. Look, y'all, Snoop's a legend, and I respect him so much. Sometimes, these conversations get heated because we're passionate about music, about art. I'm hoping he'll come back so we can keep this going. What do y'all think? You want Snoop back out here? The crowd roared in approval, clapping and chanting his name. After a tense minute, the stage door opened, and Snoop walked back out, his sunglasses back on, his stride deliberate. The audience exploded into applause, some standing as he made his way to the chair. Kelly stood too, extending a hand, her smile genuine but cautious. Snoop, thank you for coming back. Let's do this right. Snoop shook her hand, his grip firm, then sat down, leaning back with a coolness that masked the fire still simmering beneath. 8. Kelly, I'm back. But let's get one thing straight. I ain't here for no drama. You got questions, ask him, but don't come at me sideways. Kelly nodded, her expression serious. Fair enough, I didn't mean to come at you sideways. I'm a fan, Snoop. I grew up listening to your music. But as a host, I gotta ask, what the people are talking about. Let's reset. Talk to me about this album. What's driving it? What's the heart of it? Snoop leaned forward, his voice measured but intense. The heart. It's me, Kelly. It's my life, my experiences, my growth. I'm 50 years old. Man, I ain't the same kid from Long Beach, but I'm still real. This album's about where I'm at now, working with new artists, trying new sounds, but still keeping it, Snoop. You want to know the heart? It's freedom. Freedom to do me, no matter what anybody thinks. The audience clapped, the energy shifting back to admiration. Kelly nodded, her posture relaxing slightly. I respect that. Freedom's a big word, but let's dig into that. You're working with these younger artists, bringing them into your world. Is that about passing the torch, or are you learning from them too? Snoop's grin returned, a little warmer this time. It's both, Kelly. I'm dropping game on these young cats, showing them how to move in this industry. But they got fire too. They pushed me, keep me sharp. It's like, they got the energy, I got the wisdom. Together, we make magic. Kelly smiled, sensing the shift. That's beautiful. So, who's been the biggest influence on this album? Any surprises we should know about? Snoop chuckled, the tension easing. You trying to get the scoop, huh? 8, I'll give you one. There's this one track with a young producer, kid named Jackson. He's 19, straight out at Atlanta, and he brought this beat that hit me like a freight train. I was like, yo, this kid's got it. That track's one of my favorites. The audience cheered, and Kelly's eyes lit up. Okay, that's exciting. But let's talk about the flip side. Some of these collabs, especially with the pop artists, have people divided. They love you, but they're like, Snoop doing pop, what's that about? How do you respond to that? Snoop's grin faded slightly, his voice firm but not hostile. I respond by saying, I'm Snoop Dogg. I don't live in a box. I did reggae, I did gospel, I did gangster rap. Why? 'Cause I can. If I want to do a pop joint, I'ma do it. And I'ma make it dope. People don't like it. Cool. But don't tell me I can't try it. Kelly nodded, but her next question came quick, like she couldn't resist. But Snoop, isn't there a point where you're spreading yourself too thin? Like gospel, pop, rap, coaching, acting. Are you Snoop Dogg the artist, or Snoop Dogg the brand? The question landed hard, and the audience went quiet. Snoop's eyes locked on Kelly's, his voice low and deliberate. You really want to go there, Kelly? You calling me a brand like I'm some product on a shelf. I'm an artist, always have been. Everything I do comes from the same place. My soul. You want to talk about spreading thin? How about you? Singing Hostin, coaching on The Voice. You an artist or a brand? The crowd gasped, a few nervous laughs breaking the silence. Kelly's face tightened, her smile gone. Touche, Snoop, she said, her voice sharp but controlled. But I'm asking because your fans care. They want the real you, not a version of you chasing every opportunity. So, tell me, what's the real Snoop Dogg right now? Snoop leaned forward, his voice rising, each word deliberate. The real Snoop Dogg is sitting right here, Kelly. I'm the same cat who came up in '92, just with more scars, more stories, more game. You want to know what's real? This is real. Me, not letting nobody put me in a box, not even you. The audience erupted, some cheering, others whispering, as the tension spiked again. Kelly opened her mouth to respond, but Snoop wasn't done. He stood up, his voice booming now. You want real? I'll give you real. But I ain't here to be dissected like I owe everybody an explanation. I'm Snoop Dogg, that's enough. He turned, heading for the stage exit again, the crowd roaring as Kelly called after him, her voice strained. Snoop, wait, we're not done. But his steps didn't slow, and the cameras followed, capturing the moment as the studio descended into chaos. The studio was a storm of noise, the audience's cheers and gasps blending into a chaotic hum as Snoop Dogg's long strides took him toward the stage exit for the second time. The cameras swiveled, catching his gold chains glinting under the lights. His face set but resolute. Kelly Clarkson stood frozen for a moment, her expression a mix of frustration and determination. Before she leaped to her feet, her voice cutting through the din. Snoop, hold up, let's talk this out. She shouted, her Texas drawl sharp with urgency. Snoop paused at the edge of the stage, his back to her, his hand on the door. The crowd hushed, every eye on him. Slowly, he turned, his sunglasses hiding his expression, but his posture was rigid, unyielding. He walked back to the center of the set, the audience erupting in applause, but his focus was on Kelly. He didn't sit, standing tall, his voice low and steady. You want to talk? Kelly, talk, but don't come at me like I'm on trial. I came here to share my music, not defend my life. Kelly's face softened, but her eyes held fire. She stepped closer, the cameras zooming in on the tension between them. I'm not trying to put you on trial, Snoop, she said, her voice firm but earnest. I'm doing my job, asking what people want to know. You're a legend, but legends get questioned too. Your fans are wondering if you're still the same Snoop they love. That's all I'm getting at. Snoop tilted his head, his voice cool but pointed. My fans know me. They know my heart. You the one acting like I gotta prove something. I don't prove myself to nobody. I'm here, still standing, still creatin'. That's the proof. The crowd roared, some chanting his name, others clapping for Kelly's boldness. She nodded, her hands on her hips, undeterred. I get it, Snoop. You don't owe anyone anything. But when you're out here doing pop collabs, gospel, coaching, it's a lot. People wonder what's driving it. Is it the art, or is it the hustle? That's the question. Snoop's jaw tightened, and he stepped closer, his voice dropping to a near whisper, every word deliberate. You keep pushing this hustle angle. Kelly, let me school you. Every move I make is art, the collabs, the shows, the music, it's all me expressing who I am. You think I'm out here for the check? I've been getting checks since Doggy Style. This ain't about money, it's about legacy. The audience exploded, the energy electric. Kelly's eyes flickered with respect, but she didn't back down. Legacy, she repeated, nodding. That's a big word, Snoop. But legacy means staying true to your roots, too. Your fans hear these new tracks, and some of them feel like you're drifting. Not all of them, but some. Are they wrong to feel that? Snoop's laugh was low, sharp. They ain't wrong to feel what they feel, but I ain't drifting. I'm exploring. You think I'm gonna rap the same bars for 30 years? Nah, Kelly, I'm a storyteller. My story's bigger than one sound, one vibe. You wanna talk roots? My roots are in pushing boundaries, not sitting still. Kelly crossed her arms, her voice softer now, almost pleading. I hear you. I do. But when you push boundaries, you risk losing people. I'm a fan, Snoop. I'm asking because I care. Where's the line between evolving and losing? What made you, you? Snoop's stance stiffened, his voice rising, commanding. The room, the line. There ain't no line. I'm Snoop Dogg. What made me is me. My heart, my soul, my grind. You think a pop track or a TV show changes that? You don't know me, Kelly, and if you don't get that, maybe this ain't my stage. The crowd gasped, some cheering, others stunned, as Snoop turned sharply, his steps heavy as he headed for the exit again. Kelly's voice cracked through the noise, desperate but firm. Snoop, don't do this. This is your stage as much as mine. Let's finish this right. He stopped, his hand on the door, and turned his head slightly, his voice cold. Finish it. Ain't nothing to finish when you don't respect the game. With that, he pushed through the door, the slam echoing in the silent studio as the audience erupted into a frenzy. Kelly stood alone, her chest heaving, her eyes scanning the crowd. She forced a smile, her voice shaky but professional. Well, folks, that's live TV. Snoop Dogg, everybody. Let's give him some love. The crowd clapped, but the air was heavy, the moment raw and unresolved. Kelly sat down, her hands trembling slightly, and leaned toward the camera. We're gonna keep it moving, but I want to hear from y'all. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Tell me, who do you think held their ground in this one? Let's talk about it.